Hey y'all, it's your girl Bianca bringing you another episode of I Got You Sis Chronicles. Welcome back. I hope you had a pretty good week so far with everything that's going on. We just kind of got to make the best of everything. So I hope that you've been able to do that. Hopefully, you got a couple checks in the bank that have boosted your spirit a little. And if you haven't gotten it, it's on the way. It's on the way. Whatever it may be, it's on the way. All right. So, speaking of poverty, I've never tried to be a press ons type of girl, you know what I'm saying? But everybody has had to deal with different things. Not that I was not going to be bougie during these times of a whole global pandemic. You know what I'm saying? If anything is supposed to humble you, I mean, it is a global pandemic, right? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I didn't know a press on broke. I thought it just popped off. Like I thought that I didn't know. Okay, I didn't know, but I found out today. Okay, now every single press on is probably broken off. I mean, popped off at least once on every finger since last week. And I put it back on, and now it broke. But that's okay because I re-upped on some acrylic powders, and sis about to be on point. Okay, you watch, you wait. I'm gonna be back in action real soon, real soon. Anyways. Don't judge me. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. Struggling. Anyways, so, this week we're going to talk about something, and I need to do my disclaimer real quick to make sure that we have the appropriate audience for this said show, okay? So, if you were the reason why your parents got an extra $500 on their stimulus check, this show is not for you, okay? If your parents can claim you on their taxes as a dependent, this is probably not a show for you unless you're in college, okay? Anyways, if you cringe when I say the word dick instead of penis, this is not the show for you either. But I do have Worship Wednesdays for you. So click out of here, go back to the YouTube page, and click on that latest video in Worship Wednesdays and listen to me sing a little worship song for you. All right. Now that we got that out the way, this week's episode is about being dickmatized, okay? Dickmatized. Been there. Dickmatized. The definition of dickmatized is when you have had some good peen, okay? That peen was so good to you that it put you into a state of delirium. You begin to accept things that you would not normally accept, like a Negro not having a job, a Negro who cheats, a Negro who doesn't come home at night, a Negro that takes your car and you don't know where it is. And when it comes back, he just brings it back and doesn't tell you where it was. That's some good thing. So, on this episode, I'll talk about my own story of being dickmatized. My friends have sent in some videos for y'all to listen to their own stories of being dickmatized. And for the fellas, do not act like I'm only talking to the females. Do not act like you the only one that know how to put it down, okay? Because some of us women out here have some good. And I have some stories of some fellas who acted a little different because that thing just hit them just right. Okay. Let me stop. But anyways, for real. So, story time. Had a dude that I was talking to, and he was from back home, like, but outside of where I'm from. And so it was about a 4-hour drive between the two of us to each other. And I would make the drive. Now, initially when we started talking, he was trying to talk to me, and I was just like, nah, bro, like, I'm not really even trying to date like that. Like, I'm good. I just gotten out of a situation that it was just too much drama. Like, I just wasn't feeling it. So, finally gave him an opportunity. We started talking on the phone all the time for hours at a time. Started seeing him when I would come home, things of that nature. And then we finally got together. He cooked for me. Anybody who knows me knows that you can pretty much rob me to do just about anything for food. I'm just saying, it's kind of bad. I probably need to pray on that. That's a problem. Anyways, so he did that, and when we finally got together, um, it was good. It was real good. It was good, good. It was the kind of good where you just stay in that same place, probably like the fetal position or something, and you just lay there. You just let yourself be until you can get yourself back together. Okay? Like, don't touch me. I'm just gonna be here until I can get my life back together. Yeah, it was that kind. And I should have known to leave it alone when I found out that it was that kind of good. Because my mama used to say, if it's made of gold, I don't want it. And in that moment, I had some gold. You know what I'm saying? I had some gold. And I should have left it alone. Warning comes before destruction. And that, my good sis and my good friend, that was my warning. Okay? So anyway, following that and many other times of indulging in that gold, um, I cleaned the house from top to bottom, organized, washed his clothes, ironed his uniform, cooked, took care of kids that weren't mine, let his mama call me girl like she ain't know my damn name. Uh, and eventually, later on into the relationship, um, I let him cheat. Yeah, I let him cheat. I mean, it wasn't a conversation that we had, but it was something that I let him do. So he was the type of guy who took care of everything. Like when I told you, like, and I'm not talking about sexually. I'm talking about, like, if I had a problem and I told him about it, he was gonna take care of it. If something was wrong with my car, he was gonna get underneath the hood and figure out what was wrong with my car and try to fix it himself. Like, he was a handyman. He would help me with like my bills sometimes, not like nothing major, but like a utility bill, which is, I mean, it's one less thing that I have to worry about. When he would come to the house, he would fix things and be, putting together stuff and everything else. Like he was that guy. But what I ended up realizing was that he was that guy, and because he was that guy, he felt like that was his excuse for being able to do what he wanted to do. And what he wanted to do was cheat on me with his ex that he said that he was no longer with. Like I said, I have some stories from my friends that are super real, and they're their own stories. So listen to these and we'll talk about it in a second.
I have definitely been in a long-term relationship with a love-hate relationship with Good D. Um, it was all good just a week ago. Um, Basically, I became very, very blinded to very upfront problems, but I'd never seen them for some reason. And it turned into being like completely stupid. There would be nothing he could do that was wrong enough to be enough for me. It got to a point where he wasn't working, and I was like, okay. And he didn't take care of the house, and I'm like, okay. And so many things. And even when he didn't show love and affection, for some reason, it was okay. I don't know why, because I wouldn't have tolerated it in any other situation. However, out of all the mouth that I had, there was only one thing that could make me forget it all in that moment. And for some reason, that was enough. But I'm better now.
Okay, so let's go down memory lane real quick and talk about this time I was dick whooped or dickmatized. So, it had me sprung, feeling all types of ways, had me planning out the wedding, and we didn't even have a relationship past a situationship type of thing. had me thinking about it day, noon, and night. He called. I couldn't even, you know, maintain myself. I just was thirsty.
Some good dick will make you become dickmatized. In my current relationship, it has had me traveling to a whole nother state to get some good dick. That is crazy. It have you just going out of your mind doing things that you would have never thought you would done. All to bust a nut. Oh my god. The ultimate dickmatized situation is when I got a divorce to make the side nigga the main nigga over some dick. And now the side nigga is still the main nigga over some dick. And I travel to a whole nother state sometimes to get the dick, or he travels to a whole nother state to come get a piece of ass. If that's not being digmatized, I don't know what is.
Being stigmatized is equivalent to being addicted to drugs. It makes you do things that's outside of who you are, and you don't even realize it. It can alter a person's character. I remember this one time I was on a for my man type of situation, and he wasn't even my man. I mean, accessory to murder type of dick. The things women do for some good dick. I had my side piece at a family event while my husband was at home. Crazy. Just crazy. When you get some good D, I mean, toe curling, body yearning, out of breath, body shaking, get up and make some tacos type of D, you tend to write stupidity of the choices you made. Everything makes sense now. But there's a thin line, and I do mean a very thin line between stupidity and being stigmatized. You can only get a crazy check for one, so choose wisely.
Wow. So those were super real stories. And, it just kind of shows you that everyone has been through the situation, but it's all about being empowered. So clearly, I was stigmatized. Okay. Coming out of that situation, though, it empowered me. Coming out of that situation, it definitely empowered me. I began to be celibate. I fasted and I focused in on myself. And I focused in on the things that I wanted and what I didn't want. And the next man that I was serious with was my husband. And when we got into our relationship, I was bold enough, confident enough to say, this is what I'm going to deal with. This is what I'm not going to deal with. And we actually had a real conversation where we set the boundaries before the boundaries had already been broken, before the boundaries had already been pushed. And that was the first time in a relationship where I had the conversation prior to it being a conversation. So it made a difference. So I look back on those things and I laugh. Heck, I could laugh with him about it. You know what I'm saying? I could laugh with my husband about it because, me and him were friends back then, so he had to hear about it. But anyways, so, I think that there can be growth from it. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the growth in the lesson in every situation. Don't say I wasted 5 years with him or I wasted 5 years with her. Say I learned 5 years worth of lessons, and make sure that you learned it, because God has a way of bringing you back to something when you don't learn a lesson. And then you're wondering why you keep dating the same person over and over again, because you didn't learn a lesson. And until you learn a lesson, you're going to keep getting brought back to that same thing. So learn the lesson. You didn't waste the time if you learned something from it. And you're going to take that wisdom and you're going to take those lessons to your next relationship, the relationship with yourself, where you build yourself up, and you sow you sow energy and time into yourself. And then when you go into that next relationship, you'll have something more, and you'll know what you want and what you don't want, and you won't be afraid to ask for it, because you know what it's like when you don't. You know what it was like when you didn't require that of someone. So thank you so much for listening and watching I Got You Sis Chronicles. I can't wait to see you again. Please like, share, and subscribe before you go. Thank you.